Hey, I'm Steven of Hops and Hardways, and today's video is a beginner tutorial on the game of roulette. So let's jump in and get started. So if you're new to the game of roulette, it's actually a very easy, straightforward game to play, especially compared to some of the other casino games on the floor. It's essentially a one-number lottery game. Some people place some bets, put money on the felt, they spin the wheel, the ball lands in the pocket of one of the numbers, the bets pay accordingly. That process repeats itself. There are some variations to the game of roulette. European roulette is what they call single zero roulette, where the wheel only has 1 0, which is what it's on right now. The American wheel actually has 2 zeros, so there's a 0 and a double 0. The European version will just have one giant section with 1 0 in it. The American roulette has 2. I've also seen in casinos now they're starting to have 3-0 roulette. Essentially, the more zeros that are on a roulette wheel, the worse it is for the player. So if you can find a single zero roulette table or live in an area where those are prevalent, that's the game you want to play. If you're in America, you're going to find the double zero version a lot. I've personally never seen a single zero roulette wheel. You might be able to find it in maybe some high roller areas, or different parts of the country may offer it. And again, the 000, I've seen that in Vegas on the Strip, and you definitely want to stay away from 000 because that's the worst version of roulette for the player that you can possibly find until they come up with another version that's even worse for us. The next step would be buying into a table and sitting down and getting chips. The first thing you want to do before you buy in and sit down at a table and give money out is to look around the casino floor and find a table that has a sign on it with the minimum and maximum wager for that table. All gambling tables have this. You want to find a roulette table with a minimum that you're comfortable playing. A typical minimum is $5. They go up to $10 minimums. They go up to $20 minimums. They might go up to $50 minimums in some of the more high roller rooms in some of these casinos. I've seen them also as low as $2. So if you're a beginner, that's a great spot to play at because you're not risking a whole lot of money, especially if you're new to the game. $5 is a pretty typical minimum that you'll find in a lot of casinos all across the country. So for this example, we will say this is a $5 minimum table. So to buy into a table game, you would get your money and place it on the felt in front of you. You won't hand it directly to the dealer because they can't take money hand to hand. You have to set it on the felt, and then the dealer can pick it up and pay you accordingly. During a roulette game, you probably want to buy in when players are putting chips out on the felt. You don't want to buy in when this marker is out and the dealer's paying out other bets, because they're not going to want to deal with your money yet. They're going to want to settle up the previous round, pay out all the players who had money to pay out, pick the marker up off of a number. People will start placing chips. That's a good time to buy in. Typically, too, you can make eye contact with the dealer with your money out. They kind of get the hint you want to buy in. Eventually, they'll get to you and say, okay, I'm ready to take your money. Put it on the felt in front of them. They'll pick it up. They will put it into a slot on the table, and it will disappear forever. That sucks. Hopefully, you'll get some money back, though, when you're done playing. Since this is a $5 table, we're going to buy in for $50, and once they take that money, they may ask you what denomination chips you want. Typically, chips are $1 on a roulette table. That's pretty standard as well, especially at a $5 minimum table. It can be possible that chips can be worth 50 cents instead of $1, like the $2 minimum table. The cheaper tables, you might be getting away with 50-cent chips instead of a $1 chip. For this example, we will say these are all dollar chips. The dealer will slide you a stack of chips that's specific to you, in that every player at a roulette table has a stack of chips that's their own color. So let's say there's a player on this side of the table. They're playing with yellow chips. That's their chip color. Everywhere they bet, the dealer knows that's the yellow player. The next player might be blue. So every time blue hits, they know to pay that player. For this example, we're going to be orange. So you bought in for $50. They're going to slide you 50 $1 chips, or a stack of 50 chips. The way the dealer will know that these are $1 a piece is when you buy in, they will put a plastic lammer or a plastic chip on top of a chip that says $1 on it, and place this one next to the roulette wheel, so that when you cash out, they know, hey, these orange chips are worth $1 a piece, so I need to pay them $1 for every chip they have. Same thing if it was a 50-cent chip, they would put 50 cents on it, so when you cashed out, they would know, hey, these are worth 50 cents, not $1. And everybody's chips at the table might not be $1. The blue guy might be playing $2 chips. The yellow person might be playing $1, $2. Whatever the table offers is what they'll allow you to get. Again, for this one, for a $5 minimum table, I think a $1 chip is pretty standard, so we're going to say everything's $1 on the table. That's a way that roulette is actually different than any game on the casino floor, is that every person has a colored chip. So it's actually kind of nice for beginners because Though it may seem confusing, there's a lot of chips on the board and a lot of bets and action going on. All you have to do is pay attention to your own color. If you only put 5 chips out on the felt, you know they're your 5 chips. That's your bet. All the other colors all over the board don't really affect you one way or the other. So now that you're at the table, you have a stack of chips, you're ready to bet. You need to know what are the bets that you can make. So in roulette, there's basically 2 types of bets. There are outside bets and inside bets. The outside bets are anything on the outside portion of the felt. So this bottom section here, that's the outside, as well as the 3 columns at the end there. These are outside as well. The inside bets are essentially all of the numbers. So 0, 00, and 1 through 36. These are all inside bets. Starting with the outside bets, this bottom row, there are 6 bets. These are all even money bets, so they pay 1 to 1 or even money. So however much you bet on these, you're going to get paid that much. And I'll go over that a little bit more later, but I just want to get through what the bets are and what they pay, and then we'll come back to how payout actually works. If you like low numbers on the wheel, 1 through 18 is essentially the numbers 1 through 18 on the wheel. So if you bet on 1 through 18 and a 1 through 18 rolls this section, you're going to win that bet. The opposite is true on the other end, 19 through 36. That is this half of the wheel. 19 through 36. If any of these numbers hit, you're going to win that bet. Even is all of the even numbers. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, etc. Any even number that wins, 4, you're going to win that bet. The same is true for odd. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, any of those, etc. 25 hits, it's an odd number, you're going to win your odd bet. The same is true for red and black. Red is all the red numbers. Black is all the black numbers. If a black number hits and you have money on black, you win on black. If a red number hits, you have money on red, you win on red. All even money. So if you have at a $5 table like this, you have to put $5. If you hit red, 16 rolls, you're going to get paid a stack of 5. So you bet 5 units, you're going to get paid 5 units. That's even money. That's every bet on this bottom row pays even money if you hit it. Easy enough. The next set of bets on the outside would be the first, second, and third 12, as well as the columns. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. These are all outside bets as well. The difference is they pay 2 to 1. And the sections that they cover, this first 12 is, again, literally the first 12 numbers, 1 through 12. It's this section here. It lines up with the bet. If you land on a 7 and you have money on the first 12, you're going to win that bet. Same with second 12. It's this section here. Third 12, these 12 numbers here. If you land on a 7, you have it on the first 12, you get paid 2 to 1. So what does 2 to 1 look like? It's similar to 1 to 1, except it's basically double. So it looks something like that. This is your bet. These are the stacks you got paid. You bet 5, they're going to pay you 5 twice, or 2 to 1. So for every 1 you bet, you win 2. So you're going to actually win 10 to 5 if you bet on these dozens. The same is also true for the columns at the end. If you bet 5, the columns run the length of the board. So that column is for this bottom column. That bet is for the middle column of numbers. And that column is for the top column. So again, if you bet that first column in your 7 rolls, they're going to pay you 2 to 1, just like these dozens. That's 2 to 1, or 10 to 5. The reason that these 3 pay a little better than the bottom 6 is that these 3 are a little less likely to hit, so they pay you a little more. It's kind of a risk versus reward in roulette. The more numbers you bet on, the less they pay off. The less numbers you bet on, the more they pay off. So in this instance, it's actually pretty obvious. The first 1 through 18 is 18 numbers have a chance to hit, whereas the first 12 only have 12 numbers. That's 12 chances to hit. So this pays a little better than this because this is less likely to hit than this one. So that covers all the outside bets. The inside bets are, again, all the numbers. So 0, 00, and 1 through 36. All the numbers are inside bets. Inside bets work similar to outside bets, except you can bet them a little bit differently. You can bet them multiple ways. The most obvious way is betting on one number or straight up. So you could bet on the number 19. If the 19 rolls, they're going to mark it. That's going to pay you 35 to 1. So it's a lot higher payout than the outside bets. And again, I'll show you what these payouts mean and what they look like after I get through all the rest of the bets. So that's one number. You can also bet on 2 numbers, or that's also called a split. So you could split a chip between two numbers. So in this split, you've got 22 and 25. You could also split it this way, 22, 23. Anywhere you feel, 26, 29. Any line between two numbers, that's called a split. So if a 22 were to hit, you would win that split. If a 25 hits, you win that split. This chip, if you hit it either way, pays 17 to 1. So if you bet on two numbers, it pays a little less than if you bet on one number straight up. You can also bet on three numbers at a time. That's called a street bet. So it's a street of numbers. So in this case, you would put a chip here. 16, 17, and 18 is your bet for that one chip. You could street this way, 10, 11, 12. Any of these streets, 7, 8, 9, these all win. So if 7 hits, 8 hits, 9 hits, you're going to win that street. That pays you 11 to 1. So if you hit 7, 8, 9, that gives you 11 to 1 payout. You can also bet on four numbers at a time, and that's called a corner bet. You could put one chip on a corner of four numbers. So 28, 29, 31, 32. Again, you can play any corner you like. 32, 33, 35, 36, 17, 18, 20, 21. All of these are corner bets. So if any four of these numbers hit, you win that bet. So if you have your money on this corner and a 15 hits, you're going to get 8 to 1 on this bet. Same if a 17 hits, 8 to 1. 14 hits, 8 to 1. You've got 4 chances to win that bet. You can also bet on 6 numbers at a time. This is called a line bet. So you would put your chip, much like the street bet, it's essentially two streets at the same time. So instead of betting on the street for 3 numbers, you can bet a line, which is 2 streets, or 6 numbers. So 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. If one of these hits, you're going to get paid 5 to 1. There's also the rare instance that you can bet on 5 numbers. There's actually only one place on the felt that you're able to do this, and it is up top here by the zeros. You could place one there. So you're getting 0, 00, 1, 2, and 3. This bet pays 6 to 1. There are also some other unique bets that involve the zeros. Again, they pay off similar to some of these other bets, so you could still split up here as well. So you could split 0 and 1. Pays the same as this split, 17 to 1. You could split 0 and 2. Pays 17 to 1. All splits pay 17 to 1, 00 and 2, or 00 and 3. You could also play trios up top. So you could get 3 numbers. It's called a trio instead of a street because it's not in a straight line, but it pays just like the street does. You're getting 3 numbers here, 0, 1, 2. You could also get a trio of 0, 00, 2. You could also get a trio of 00, 2, 3. These pay just like the street, 11 to 1. So that basically covers all the inside bets except for the zeros. Now the zeros are different in that they are green. You'll notice on the wheel 00 is green. Also the single 0 is green. What does that mean? You can bet on them straight up. You can bet on them split. You can bet on them the same as numbers. However, they are not red or black. They are not even or odd. They are not 1 through 18, 19 through 36. They're not in a column. They're not in any of these dozens. So what that means is when a 0 rolls, if people have money all over the felt, they've got money on even, they've got in the first 12, they've got red, they've got odd. If a 0 rolls, all of these lose because they are not, 0 and 00 are not part of any of the outside bets, and they're not bet on. If you bet on these numbers, obviously you didn't hit a 0. So some people call those the house numbers. Some people hate the zeros. The zeros are essentially how the casino gets its house edge against the players. So going back to why more zeros are worse for the player, 1 0 is less likely to hit than 2 zeros. So 1 0 is less likely to wipe all these outside bets against the player. A 00 wheel has a little bit more likelihood to land in a 0 or 00, which wipes out the outside bets on the player. So 00 wheels are a little bit worse. And 000 is even worse than that. So before we get into rolling the wheel and placing bets and starting a little bit of a live example game here, I wanted to illustrate how payouts work just in case you're still confused on that a little bit. So a lot of times when you hear about payouts in relation to casino games, they'll say 1 chip equals 1 unit. So they actually do payouts in units and not necessarily dollar amounts, because if you pay out in the correct number of units for each bet, you always get the correct number of dollars. So for instance, in this video, each chip is worth $1. So if you bet on one number straight up, it pays 35 to 1. Now that means for every 1 unit you bet, you would get paid 35 units. So if each unit is $1 and you bet straight up on a number, you would win $35. Now you're not just stuck putting 1 chip on a number straight up, you can put 2 chips on a number straight up if you wanted to double your bet. So if you doubled your bet to 2, you would double the payout by 2. It's kind of like fractions back in school. You have to multiply the top and the bottom by the same number. This would give you a payout of 70 to 2, which is twice as much as 35 to 1. Now, if you wanted to put all 5 of your chips on one number, if you wanted to meet the table minimum that way, like in this video, you could put all 5 chips on one number. You would basically do the same type of math. So if you multiplied your bet times 5, you would multiply that payout times 5, which would give you a whopping total of 175 units paid for every 5 units bet, or in this case again, units equal $1, so that would be a $175 win. Obviously that sounds great and is really tempting, but again, as stated earlier, the more numbers you bet on, the less you get paid, but the more likely it is that you hit, and the opposite is true the other way. If you bet on one number, you get paid really well, but it's not very likely to hit. And you can actually see this pretty well illustrated on this table. Up top, you have one number, pays 35 to 1, but it only has a 2.6% chance to hit on an American roulette wheel. And the further you move down this list, you'll see the payout goes down, but the odds of hitting that bet actually go up. Also, another important takeaway from this table is that even, odd, red, black, 1 to 18, and 19 to 36 are actually not 50-50 bets. Because of the 2 zeros on the wheel, it actually brings the odds down to 47.4%, which for most people is still close enough to 50-50 to want to play them one way or the other, but it is important to know that there are no true 50-50 bets on the wheel because of the zeros. So you've got your chips, you're sitting at the table, you're ready to place bets. There's actually one main rule that you have to follow, and it goes back to that sign that has the minimum bet on the table. You have to meet that minimum bet whenever you put chips out. So if this is a $5 table, you've got stacks of chips. All of these are $1 a piece. On the outside, you have to meet the minimum of the table on every bet. So if you want to bet on even numbers, you have to put the table minimum on even. So you have to put 5 chips on even to play even, because that's $5. So you've met your table minimum on that bet. If you also want to play red, you have to then put another 5 chips on red. So you've met your table minimum on each of these bets. That is how the outside is different from the inside. On the inside, you're allowed to mix and match a little bit. So if you want to play 13, well, let's say you like red and even. Let's say you like red even numbers. So let's say you like 14. 14, 16, 18. You can play 14, 16, 18 like this. You could also take both streets. That has met your table minimum on the inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chips. And you've got 5 and 5 on the outside. These all reach the table minimum. You can obviously put more on the inside. You could put 6. You could put 7. You could put 8. You just can't put less than 5. If you want to play the inside, you have to put 5 across the inside at least. You can't just put... You can't put 2 and then have your 5 met out here. You have to meet 5 on the inside and 5 on the outside if you want to play both. You're totally more than welcome to just play 1. You could just play 1 on the outside. That could be all you bet. It's a $5 table. You put your $5 on black. You ride that out. You can just play black, $5 all night. Again, you don't even have to play the outside if you don't want to. You don't have to play red, black. You don't have to. You could just put 5 inside. Maybe you like these numbers. You could simply play $5. You've met the table minimum. Inside, you're set. You can split numbers and stuff on the inside. You can bet corners. What you can't do on the outside is split or do anything like that. You have to bet straight up on it. You can't say, oh, I like red and even, so I'm going to put it right there. I'm putting $5 on both. You can't do that. You have to, again, if you want to play both, $5 on each bet on the outside. Same goes for these dozens. You can't get 2 dozens. You can't get 2 dozens there. You can't do 2 columns. You can't split outside. You got to put single, 5, and 5 on each outside bet. So that is all of the betting. You've got your chips. There's other players here. We're going to go ahead and do some live rolls. We'll get some bets on the table. I will play as you, as the orange player. I like the number 5, so let's make sure we meet the table minimum here. We'll put 5 on and around 5. I like the zeros as well, personally. I hate missing out on them when they do roll. And I like low numbers, so we'll play, again, 5 on the outside on this dozen. So I've met my table minimum 5 here, and we've got 7 inside, so we've met the table minimum there as well. And it's red. I like red, so we'll play red too, just to give ourselves a little bit more coverage and some more numbers. A question I've seen asked is, can you play numbers that other people are playing at the same time? Or can you play red if someone already plays red? Yes. You can play whatever you want. Nobody's bets hinder your ability to bet anywhere else on the table. So if somebody already had money on red and you wanted to play red, you just stick it right next to theirs. If somebody already had 5, let's say yellow likes 5 too, they've got chips. They've got their chips already out like that. If I'm the yellow player, I'm like, oh, I like 5 too. I want to go with yellow. You take your chips, you put them right on top. Where did I have? So right on top of theirs, these are open, and I wanted 5 straight up. Put it right on top of theirs. The dealer, when they pay out, they know whose color's chips belong to who because you have that color in front of you. Or they assign that color to your seat. So they know the yellow player's sitting there. They know the blue player's sitting there. Even though they're all in right here, they know that's the blue person. They know you're the orange player. So yellow's with me here. Let's say yellow actually wants both of these columns or these dozens as well. So we've got all these numbers out. We've got everything covered. Let's go ahead and do a live roll here. Again, you know, it might look a little confusing. Hey, this guy's got money next to me. Whose is whose? The dealer knows whose is whose again because of the colors. So all you have to do is look at the orange bets. Those are your bets. Nobody else's bets matter. So the number that rolled is a 32, which is way down here where nobody really has anything. So what the dealer would do is pick up all the outside bets that lost. So these sections lost because 32 is not in them. Also, the outside one here on red, so they would leave red, and then they would wipe away from the winning number anything that lost. So all this stuff down here lost. So our 5 didn't hit, nothing around 5 hit, the zeros didn't hit. So as orange, we lost all the money on numbers, we lost the section. We did hit on the column, or excuse me, we hit on the color. So again, they'll take chips that are the same color as your chips. They'll match your money because it's an even money bet. They'll do the same for the other player. And that's it. They've paid everybody out, and they'll pick this up. They'll pick up the marker off the number, and people are free to start betting again. That's a very important rule as well. When the number is marked, if you're, let's say you're yellow, or the yellow player didn't hit anything, while the dealer's paying out orange and blue, yellow is not allowed to start putting money out on the felt and betting again until this marker's picked up. So think of this marker as a pause button when the dealer puts it down. They're pausing the game because they need to pay out people and they need to make sure all the money is situated before they move on to the next roll. So as a player, if you got paid money, if we're orange, they've already paid us, you can't reach out and pick that money up yet because this marker is still out. They're still trying to settle up the game. They're trying to pay blue their money. Again, as yellow, you can't start putting money out while payments are happening. You can't start putting money out because the dealer is in the middle of settling up the last round. They'll wave you off. They'll say you have to wait. Again, if you try to pick up your money, they'll say, hey, you got to wait. And if you're a new player, you're a beginner, they're not going to rip your head off. They let you slide, especially if you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. My bad. I've done it. You get in a hurry. You want to get your money back out. You want to pick your winnings up too. So they understand these things. They'll just simply say, hey, you got to wait. It's no big deal. Once they pick this up, you're free to pick up your money. So we won our red bet. Blue can pick up his winnings, and a new round starts again. So we hit our red number. Let's say red's hot. We like red some more. We still like the number 5. We'll kind of just bet. Let's do the same bet. 32 hit. Yeah, we'll just keep it the same for ourselves. So red, this dozen. 5 heavily covered, and the zeros. Some people don't like layering it like that. Let's say this guy likes red again too. He likes this section, but then he also wants to get in on some of these numbers here. So he'll again just stack his chips right on top of ours. It doesn't matter. And then he also kind of wants to cover this end of the board a little bit. So let's say he's got something like that. Yellow, not doing too hot. Let's say they just go all in down there on 19 through 36. And we'll see what happens. If you put a chip in a precarious place, so let's say you kind of have it sitting like that, the dealer will kind of sure that up for you. Like, hey, did you want it there? Did you want it there? And again, as long as you're not trying to pull a fast one on them, they're pretty lenient. They will help you. They will teach you as you go. They'll make sure your money is stacked how it's supposed to be. Things like that. So a 31 rolled, so the 30s are hot right now. So again, we'll pick up the outside that didn't hit. So the outside red and this dozen did not hit. Red and this dozen did not hit. The outside one down there. Otherwise, they will, again, move the chips that lost out of the way. They'll put them all on a giant hole, too, so it's actually kind of depressing. Some of the tables have a giant hole at the end where they just slide all the chips into. And then they will pay on this corner bet, that one here. So the 31 hit for blue. Again, that pays 8 to 1. They'll get a stack out. Or they'll get a stack of 20 and flip off the remainder. So there's your 8. 8 to 1. They will pick this up. No, excuse me. They didn't pay the outside. They'll pay the outside first. Okay. They paid their outside winner. They paid their 8 to 1 here on the inside. They'll pick this up. Now, another important thing is keeping track of your own chips and your own winnings. So, like, for instance, blue here, they will slide this winnings to the blue player. Say, good luck, congratulations, good hit, whatever. Some of these other bets they might leave, though. So this corner bet, for instance, the dealer's not going to push that back to you. On the outside here, they're not going to push this back to you either. So it's kind of your job as the player to pick up your winnings. Because what will happen is you'll get distracted. Yellow's not paying attention. There's the bets start going again. The dealer starts spinning the wheel. Everybody else is in on stuff. Yellow's down there flirting with the drink person, whatever. Not paying attention. And let's say blue picks theirs up and likes these 30 numbers, these high numbers. What may happen is the dealer spins, the ball rolls. By the time yellow looks back, they've got 2 stacks of chips sitting on that same bet, when maybe they didn't mean to have it like that. So let's see, a 22 hit. Lucky for them, it worked out. So they actually just won double. But if you didn't want to bet that again, you got to pay attention. Make sure you pick up your winnings when they pay you out. So as orange, we kind of missed everything here. Red did not hit again. Yellow's getting paid. I did that out of order, so nothing hit on the inside. So they would pick all this up, slide all this out of the way. They've paid yellow, and that's it. They'll pick this up. Again, responsibility is on yellow to pick up their winnings. Blue is out. Yellow's actually doing okay by that mistake. And us and orange, what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 7 chips left. Not a great day for us. But that brings up another good point of, what if you don't have enough chips to reach the table minimum? If you've been sitting there, you've been playing a long time, I have seen it to where if you only have, let's say you have 4 chips left and the table minimum's 5, the dealer may let you slide. Say, hey, I only have 4 chips, I just want to play red. Is that cool? They may let you, they may not. Depends on the strictness of the dealer or the casino they work at. Also, I have had it happen to me where the table minimum's $5. I think I have 5 chips in my hand. I put it out and I move on. I bet somewhere else. A 7 rolls. The dealer goes to pay it and they realize, hey, that was only 4 chips. That wasn't 5 chips. They'll pay it anyway because you made that wager and you hit it. But they will tell you, hey, make sure you put 5 here because the table minimum's 5. You got to reach the minimum on these bets. Again, if you're a beginner, it's not a big deal. If you make a habit of it or make it look like you're trying to get one over on the casino, they might have a problem with it. So we don't have much money left. Let's just go ahead and put the rest of it out here. The ball's bounced on 19 through 36 a couple times. Let's say he'll let us get on the inside. I don't know. Or let's say we just buy in for 3 more. We got $3 in our pocket. We put it out so we can reach the table minimum here. Let's go for the low numbers, and especially some low numbers there. And again, yellow's feeling that as well. They'll just stack their money right on top of ours. They'll go all in. I've found the best thing to do if you're new to a game is sit next to the dealer and just ask them questions. Or when you buy in, say, hey, I'm kind of new. Like, keep an eye on me. Make sure I don't do anything stupid. If I do, I apologize in advance. And flip them a chip, Ask them what their favorite number is. Maybe they like the number 12, You say, hey, here's a chip for the dealer. Appreciate it. Look out for our group. We're new, whatever. Put it on 12. The dealer will know that's their bet. We'll see how it works for them. They might just want the money straight up like, hey, this is for you. So the 12 hit. So again, this section hit, this section lost for yellow. He didn't have it on a street, so they will pick all these up because all of these lost. And again, they just wipe these away into a giant hole. I'm going to pick them up a little more methodically to keep them color coordinated. And then they'll pay out on the outside. So, as orange, we did hit the first 18, and then yellow, again, playing the dozens. He's going to get 2 to 1 there. So 2 to 1 versus even money 1 to 1. Let's do one more roll. Maybe as orange we can get a little lucky. Let's try the middle of the board. So let's put 6 there. We've got 4 left, so we can't really play the outside unless we kind of move this around a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 here. So we kind of broke even on our last play. Let's go ahead and take our 5 and our 0, and our last 2. Let's just go for something straight down the middle here. And orange is going to kind of chill on the outside. Excuse me, yellow is going to just chill on the outside. I think that covers it. Hopefully, if you have any more questions, let me know in the comments. I'll try and address them as best I can. Hopefully, I covered everything as far as payouts and how betting can work and how a game rolls. 25. So, not good luck for us as orange in this video, but that's roulette. Some people say the best strategy of roulette is to not play at all. Obviously, you're here because you're interested in playing. This is how you play. Sometimes it doesn't go your way. So we'll pay yellow. They lost on this one, but they actually did win their giant red bet. So it pays even money. So yellow's actually hanging in the game. You can kind of see maybe the outsides. The outside is a little less volatile to your bankroll versus playing on the inside heavy. So that might be something more suited for a beginner. Some beginners like to just stick between red and black. Or stick between bouncing around on these, you know, halves of the board. Let's just play this out with yellow. We actually, you know, as orange, we busted out. But I have seen also asked online, can you play with casino floor chips that have values on them? Let's say you have a black chip in your pocket worth $100 at that casino. Can you walk up to the table and play it? I have seen it played that way in the past. Somebody was walking up and looking for an open spot at a table. They just wanted to double up their money, so they wanted to say, hey, like, can I just put this on black really quick without buying in? I don't want like $100 worth of chips, right? I just want to play one bet. The dealer has let them. I've seen it done with a green 25 chip. Typically, they'll see that and they'll say, you know, to the pit boss, like, green outside, black outside, right? Oh, we got black. We got a black chip on the outside worth 100. Everybody knows that a black's worth 100. And, you know, they'll let it fly. I don't know how many times you can get away with doing that. I don't know if they'll let you sit there and play with black chips over and over and over again. I think eventually they'll probably make you buy in just to keep the table clean and have everybody color coordinated. But it can be done, and I have seen it done before. So a 26 hit. So again, this section lost. This color lost. And all these inside bets lost. Yellow did hit their dozen. So they kind of broke even. They might have lost a little bit of money here. And then, sure enough, the guy who walked up with the black chip won. So you want to make a quick 100, that might be the way to do it. I've never done it. So that's it. Hopefully that wraps up all the questions you guys might have. If you have any more that I didn't address, put them in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel. I plan on doing a lot more roulette videos in the future. Different strategies and stuff. Playing live. So make sure you subscribe. Like this video if it helped you out. Refer it to a friend. See you guys in the next video.